Hello and welcome to Mimosa Tech Talk, a podcast by Mimosa Networks. Hi, I'm Dustin,
And I'm Eric.
and today we're on episode number 45. It's a very special episode today. As you can see, we have a special guest, Jim Novell, back with us again 1 year on from when we first had our conversation.
1 year.
1 year anniversary with Reliance and Radisys. So welcome back.
Well, thank you very much.
And you're in the studio for the first time, so welcome.
Yes, it's a lot better than being on a Teams call. So this is great.
Come on. You're on Teams calls all the time. They can't be that bad. So anyway, we want to talk with Jim again, 1 year on, and kind of get his feeling on things. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Jim, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I don't know. Is he ready, Eric?
He looks ready.
All right,
He's got a
let's
big
go.
smile. He's ready to rock.
So let's go ahead and let's start by sharing your thoughts on Mimosa Network's 1 year anniversary as part of Radisys. What has this milestone meant to you and the team?
First off, happy to be here. And obviously, after a full year, the excitement of what's going on with the company, you just feel it from everybody. And you know what it means for me overall is I've been bought and sold many times. I've been through a lot of transactions of companies. And it's that first year is always the critical one. It's to set the tone for what the acquisition is going to be, how you fit into the organization. I kind of break it up into, I'll call it the 3 Ps: people, product, and performance. People, culture. When you get brought into an organization, that's always the critical part. How do you fit into it? Not just the Reliance Geo family, but the Radisys family combined. I think we've done a great job with that. I think the organizations have done a very good job welcoming us into the group. We've added to the organization. We've essentially tripled overall. That's not just from R&D, that's from sales and support. That's also from the back office, et cetera. So we've added individuals that have helped us to grow. Number 2 is product. We've had tremendous strides with our roadmap. I know we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we've added a lot to what we can accomplish and what we're offering to the world. And then the third one, in regards to performance, we're performing very well. Obviously, that's always mission critical, especially for your new owners. They want to see what's happening on the other side. And we're performing. We're performing very well. We're actually bucking the trend. Telecom this year, obviously, this is August 2024. Everyone can take a look at what's happening with the telecom market. We're actually doing very well. And expectations are we'll continue to grow with that. So, to tell you the truth, I would give us a pretty good grade on our report card this year.
Great.
Right.
So just to follow up on that, I know we did really well in our first half. Can you share any information on that, or is that private information?
Well, I mean, overall, we hit all our objectives, right, for the first half. I'm not going to go into numbers overall, but we hit all of our objectives, which was fantastic.
Right.
So when we're stretched, where we came from through the first year acquisition, there's always just that wrestling of figuring out where you fit into the organization. We accomplished those. Everybody kept their eye on the ball. We met financial targets, et cetera. Very proud of that overall. Second half looks to be pretty good for us right now. Second half, we have a lot of interest across the planet. Everyone wants to hear what we're doing with Geo and the path and the objectives we're going through. Right now, we're now facing the positive side of this, where we have customers calling us up, reaching out for us to come up with solutions.
Great. Okay, Eric, your turn.
Sure. Reflecting on the past year, what were some of the most significant changes or developments that Mimosa Networks experienced after becoming part of Radisys? I think you just touched on some of those.
The biggest item that we as a company have had to embrace is we are now a carrier grade product portfolio. All right. I'm not saying the product was horrible by any means prior to that, but we are now in the phase of being deployed in the millions within one of the largest telcos on the planet. And even, whatever metrics you want to use, if your product doesn't perform in that millions category, that number gets very big. And so we are putting a lot of effort into getting our product to a point of not just being we'll call it tier 2, tier 3 user out there, but this is something that could be used as a quality carrier grade platform that people can rely upon.
Instead of into the hundreds or tens of thousands, now we're looking at bigger.
Yeah,
bigger
I mean,
ones.
2 magnitudes,
Yeah.
higher than that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So what would you say have been Mimosa's most significant milestones this year?
Well, one, making it to a year. Number one, making it to a year. I mean, all kidding aside, you can go back and point at quite a few, we'll call them misfires through different companies, et cetera. That first acquisition or whatever the acquisition is, the 1 year is critical. So making it to a year, being on the positive trend. So that's milestone number one overall. Milestone number two, not to get into overall numbers, but we are in massive deployments within Geo right now. I mean, it's quite large, and it's just ramping up even higher. Those numbers are actually mind-boggling in terms of where we were a year ago. Mm-hmm. And the third one to wrap around with it, don't know when the podcast will get issued, but we have quite a bit of product portfolio that's going to be announced here within Q3. So Q3, being 1 year out from where we were to where we are now, I think has been a major accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the portfolio and the roadmaps and all that, as are the customers.
So just to follow up to what you just said, is that something we're going to announce, say, at WISPAPalooza 2024, or are we doing it before then?
So our goal right now is to be able to launch out and do quite a few of our announcements before WISPAPalooza, or it'll be in conjunction with it. We're going to use that as kind of our target date.
Okay.
To wrap around with it. So we're quite excited about it.
Yeah. So come out and see us at WISPAPalooza 2024 so you can find out more.
I love the plug.
All right.
All right.
Eric?
How was the integration with Radisys how has the integration with Radisys enhanced Mimosa's capabilities and offerings? Are there any technologies or innovations that have been especially impactful?
So number one, let's just deal with the basics. So Radisys, existing company, large embedded base, infrastructure, etc. The goal when we got absorbed into or became the subsidiary of Radisys was only there to help and not hurt. And anything that they could do to help support us, IT infrastructure. They have a solid IT infrastructure staff helping out to help support us in regards to that. Back office capabilities, etc. They've been wonderful to deal with, and they've really helped bolster us overall. So from that aspect. Number two, we are now starting to reap the benefits of, we'll call it the joint Radisys Mimosa solution set. We have opportunities around the world right now where customers are looking at fiber solutions, O-RAN solution, and then also broadband radio solutions as the three-prong approach. And we're going in there and offering a full turnkey solution in regards to that. So from that aspect, we're getting a lot of traction. Probably not accounts I want to name out openly, but we have quite a few in the world opportunities right now that hopefully will bring to closure here pretty soon.
So those the last mile to the home still requires fixed wireless.
Yes,
and lots of parts of the world. So
I don't care when anybody says it needs it.
you need radio.
Could you discuss how Mimosa's customer base has evolved over the past year? And have you seen any new trends or shifts in the market that are particularly exciting?
Well, let's deal with the second part of that. Then we'll roll into the first part of it. So the second part is you are now starting to see globally a customer base that, let's just say they were a wireless provider, 4G, 5G, whatever you might want to call it. They're offering solution sets. Now they're almost globally looking at alternatives to either offload traffic, take a step back. When you're dealing with a customer, in some parts of the world, their entire internet connectivity for their home is actually the phone. So when they come home from work, they're at home. The whole house utilizes the phone. And it's causing issues with everyone's mobile networks overall. So everyone is looking to offload that traffic to at least start getting their mobile networks, we'll call it more stabilized. There's quite a few of hotspots, we'll say, out in the world. And so from that, they're trying to look for an offload capability. But as a byproduct of that, it's a revenue opportunity too. This is a chance for wireless operators to now be able to offer home internet solutions and have another revenue source. So that combination, I would say almost every carrier on the planet's looking for ways to optimize that. to try to increase our ARPU at some sort of form or fashion. Now, because of that, it's kind of changed our customer base a little bit. I would say our solution set, unlicensed broadband radios, traditionally has been more of a tier 2, tier 3 player. I think everyone will acknowledge that. We're now starting to deal with tier 1 providers that realize this technology is sound, stable. They're looking for something like this to maximize their ability to, we'll call it, not mess up their spectrum plan right now and start utilizing unlicensed a little bit more. At the same time, get some revenue out of it. It's actually a very powerful solution set.
Cool.
Go for it.
For another half of that. Okay. How has the team at Mimosa Networks adapted to the changes over the past year? Are there any new incentives or cultural shifts that have contributed to your success?
Well, the podcast is better.
Oh, better? Oh, really better?
Especially
wow.
The employees are really what drives the companies. I mean, that's why when I said the 3 Ps, people are first in regards to it. And I just don't mean that as a mantra. It has to happen. Everyone has to realize the vision, realize that, yes, there's opportunity here, and start, helping with the success of everything. And as such, you make sure that everybody's treated well. I think the acquisition, the Radisys portfolio set, what they do with their personnel is fabulous. It's been a great addition to try to help out in regards to all the employees overall. So it's been great for us. I think the culture that they've brought along has been very welcoming to us. So in regards to that, it's great overall. And it's also nice when you succeed, everyone wants to be part of it.
That's right.
We are, again, bucking the trend of what you're seeing out in the telecom industry right now. And so, it's basically driven by the employees here.
By Eric specifically.
What?
Carry the load, Eric.
I think Sir Richard Branson said it best. He said, you take care of the employees and they'll take care of the customers.
That's right. All right. So as we look to the future, what are some key goals and objectives for Mimosa Networks in the coming year?
Wow. Okay. So we'll just list out the full strategy. Wrap around with it. No, I think that the biggest item is this. Year 1 was get used to acquisition, find your footing inside the new entity, and also start ramping up Geo. And we've accomplished that. Mm-hmm. Now the next phase of this is ramping up rest of world. We have interest around the planet. We've done a pretty good job this year, or this first 12 months. Now we're going to start seeing the true benefits of what's been brought into the fold. So you're going to see probably some tremendous growth coming out of Mimosa over the next 12 to 24 months. And that's just even outside of Geo, just what we're seeing with the rest of the planet.
Mm-hmm. So leaning into that, last year in our first show and at Wispapalooza and throughout the last few months, we've talked about, firmware releases every quarter. We were looking at B6 that, we were talking about maybe having out Q1 we haven't seen yet. So do you have any comments on that? Like, what are we looking forward to here and how are we going to do it?
Sure. No. I mean, those are all great questions. So number one, our goal was to try to keep a certain rhythm of firmware updates going out to the world. And I'll call in the back office, we've really been doing that. The problem is we haven't been able to get it out to everybody. Again, getting back to the first part, with our deployments with Geo, we're deploying again in the millions. So we had to bulletproof the system. And I'll gladly put our platform up against anybody right now. What we have gone through in terms of making this a full carrier grade system. And at the price points that we offer it at, we're probably the best value in the marketplace. I'll go toe to toe with anybody in regards to that statement. But as a result of that, a couple of items we've had to kind of pick and choose in terms of what we had to deploy out. But probably over the next, we'll call it up till Wispapalooza. We have some feature sets that we have released into Geo. We have not released out to the rest of the world. That's going to be, I'll call it pretty exciting. especially when you're dealing with carrier grade products, out there. In terms of new products, we are going to be shipping out. B6 is taking a little bit longer because there's some stuff we wanted to go through with it, but we will be shipping out that product this quarter. We have a lot of new platforms that we haven't announced out to the world yet that we have been working on in the background that are going to be, we'll call it serious game changers for us. And so when those come out, I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Well, I think that leans into Eric's next question here.
Yeah. Are there any upcoming projects or product launches that you're particularly excited about and can give our listeners a sneak peek into?
Try to narrow a few down, wrap around with it. Well, obviously, number one, the
Yeah.
big one that I would call it in every global region that we operate in, everybody wants to see our B6X platform. All right. So that's number one. We are shipping product out. We have proof of concept trials going on around the planet. We will be shipping out that product. It is going to be a big win for us. The performance versus cost on this thing is incredible. So we're quite excited about that out in the fold. So that's number one. We will be announcing some new feature sets that will be going with our 6 Series platforms. Don't want to announce it yet, but it will be coming out here very soon in regards to some of the new additions that we're going to be adding to the fold. We're even taking, next steps of what we're trying to do with, we'll call it potentially other frequency ranges. Those will start getting announced here probably in the next quarter or two, where we can go out in full force. Again, our platform allows us a lot of flexibility, and also with the drive that we're getting, having, we'll call it Big Brother Geo on our side, there's a lot of things we're bringing to the fold a heck of a lot faster than we've done in the past.
Right. Okay. Well, then, the last question we have for you today is, how do you envision Mimosa Networks continuing to innovate and lead in the connectivity space? What trends or technologies do you think will be the most influential?
So one of the main items I think the whole world is looking at is, okay, where's the next spectrum? Where's the next availability? Where do you go?
That's right.
Where things start opening up into the world. Let's not kid ourselves. Everybody knows that you have millimeter wave frequencies out there, spectrum. They're just sitting on the shelf. What do you do with those? Can you help show some sort of solution set? What's going to happen in regards to, these offload / FWA, just true business case items? Can you help me become profitable? Can you give me a solution that I can deploy in a sensible manner and then basically make a business case out of? These are the things that we see, we'll call it, over the short-term future. Long-term future, sky's the limit. Right now, the opportunities in front of us in terms of how we want to expand our portfolio, we're looking at all sorts of different solution sets. We'll pretty much keep our core technology at play, but we're continuing to look at, okay, can we expand frequency ranges, distances? Do we go for something larger? Do we start providing alternatives to maybe microwave, even up in the much higher end spectrum range? These are all things that we're looking at. We're also being asked about from our customer base of how we can bring our technology into the fold.
Cool. Well, I think we're probably done grilling you for today, but there's always the opportunity for next time. So we appreciate you coming in today and hanging out with us and answering a bunch of questions.
Gentlemen, these are great. All kidding aside, I think the world wants to hear more about Mimosa, and hopefully they're going to hear a lot more good news here in the near future.
Yeah, so come grill this guy at Wispapalooza 2024. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Love to see you guys. Please stop by.
Yeah, come see us.
Thanks, Jim.
Come learn.
Thanks, Dustin.
Come learn what we have to talk about. So we'll see you guys on the next show.
Wonderful. Thank you.